So you guys remember that old video? I want to say it was like maybe 6 years or 7 years ago, the watch video with the fake sun that everybody in the community agreed looked fake. Tell me that that sun doesn't look almost identical to the sun from the Final Experiment trailer that they just released. And I put them all side by side here so you can see them all. And I just think it's funny that, back then everyone all agreed, oh yeah, it's so fake. Look how obviously fake it is. And now they put something out and like all of a sudden it's not fake and it looks completely different than the footage we've seen so far. Um, but yeah, this video is not all about that. I just wanted to point that out and show some of the memes I've been working on that I'm sure most of you have seen. Some other memes that people have posted too. I'm glad some more people are starting to catch on to the lies and the nonsense that these people are pushing. So that's good. I'm just gonna call them the Tiny Hearts crew because since they have the tiny heart syndrome, which is the act of mentally quitting through something difficult, or an individual who suffers from the inability to properly man the F up and get through a difficult or trying task, since they like to put labels on us and act like psychologists, we can play the same game. So I just happened to see this video about the con artist narcissists, and man, did it ring true for like all of these people listed here and their flat earth careers and what they've pushed on people through the years and how they represent themselves and talk about themselves, and the red flags are there for sure.
Perhaps the most essential characteristic or ingredient in a healthy relationship is trust or trustworthiness. One of the things we need to know is that person that you're going to invest in is somebody who has your back, they have your best interest at heart, and you have the same with them. There's a sense of mutuality. Narcissists will pick up on that notion of trust and trustworthiness and think, let me see if I can take that quality and use it to my personal benefit. Now, with narcissists, first of all, let's keep in mind they have a very high need for control. They're very selfish. They lack empathy. They are manipulators and exploiters and users. They want to be superior. All of that's part of the narcissistic pattern. Narcissists are master gaslighters, and by that I mean they want to present themselves in such a way that make you not trust yourself. And they're also just the chronic exploiter. As far as they're concerned, you exist to service them, and so they're going to figure out, well, if I need to do certain things to get you into my confidences, I'm willing to do that. As a result, narcissists can be highly prone towards being con artists. Now, keep in mind when we talk about con artists, I just use the word confidence. The con is a takeoff of the term confidence. They want to generate confidence from you towards them. They want you to think, now there goes a nice person. And as a result, it allows them to do whatever kind of scheming they want to do at your expense. And this can happen in your personal life with individuals inside your family or the person that you're living with or you're married to. This can happen in social settings. It can happen in businesses where people can purport to be one thing and it turns out you got screwed over pretty badly. It can happen in religious organizations, certainly politics, where power is so important. It can happen there, dating, friendships, etc. Now, I want to see if I can go through a pretty lengthy little list of ingredients that are part of the con artist mentality because it's going to be so necessary for you to know these people are trying to make you trust them when in fact they prove to be very untrustworthy. And the more you can see their tactics, then hopefully the more you can then be onto them and then make decisions based on what you know to be true as opposed to what they purport to be true. Those are two very different kind of things. When we're talking about the person who's a con artist, some of the traits that are most common. Top of the list, these individuals can be very persuasive. Con artists, narcissists can be the kinds that will say, well, I really do have your best interest at heart, and I'm going to make you a really good friend or a good business partner, or I'm going to be a good leader. You're so fortunate to have me in your life. Famous last words. On top of that, then, they can become temporarily impressive. In fact, they can be aggressively impressive. It's like, oh, there are so many things about me that you're going to be fortunate to have alongside with who you are. They have the ability to discern what you want. For example, if you want relationship success, or if you want things, or if you want to be introduced to the right kind of people, it's like, yeah, I can figure that stuff out for you. They'll try to figure out who you are and what your desires are, and then they're going to take advantage of whatever goodness they may short-term generate and then use it against you later. In addition, they have compellingly forceful characteristics. For example, their self-confidence is kind of a forceful self-confidence. It's like, oh, I've got enough confidence for the both of us. And so they can come across in a very persuasive way in that way. They will flaunt their positive characteristics. And they'll tell you about all sorts of people they've impressed and all sorts of things they've done that are, a little bit better than the average person. Well, not a little bit better, a lot better. They'll minimize their own personal failures. If they do talk about something that went wrong, it's like, well, I was at a bad time, or this person over here got ill and that kind of threw everything off, or the economy messed up or something, but they always have an excuse for any kind of personal failure they have. These con artists can be infectious in the way that they do life. It's like, come on, be with me and join me. I'm going to make life really good for you. And you think, oh, good, this is going to be wonderful. They want you to think that way. That being the case, they can have seductive friendliness. It's like, I'm going to be that one person you've been waiting for. And I'm going to be the one person that's going to just make things so good. And they feel like they make you feel like you can and should connect with them, because if you don't, boy, you're going to lose out on a whole lot. They can talk about their backstory in wonderful kinds of ways. In terms of some of their history of successes, and who knows how much of it is true, but they'll make you think, oh, I'm kind of the best thing since sliced bread, and I've done A, B, and C that are really wonderful. And of course, we go back and say that, but they certainly don't reveal their true negatives. They can even sometimes take it to a level of fake vulnerability. They might say something like, yeah, I had a time in my life where things didn't go well, or I had some real disappointments, or some things really turned out in a way that I wasn't predicting. Then two things: A, I overcame all of it, and B, it was everybody else's fault. But they can kind of give you the impression that they're going to be personal with you. But even so, there's a phoniness about it. In their con artist mindset, they will feel insulted if you ever call them out, because they work so hard to try to create a positive impression that when you say, well, something doesn't add up here, I'm not real sure about that, they're going to be very thin-skinned. Their defenses can be way off the chart. They can make a lot of promises regarding future success, but then again, that future success never quite plays out the way that you wanted. And then they can use a lot of pressure tactics with you. There are certain things that are going to happen not good if you don't coordinate with me. Come on, we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision right now. The goal of the con artist narcissist is my gain at your expense. And in their mind, you exist to service them. They love power and influence. And when they are in their persuasive stage, they try to make you feel psychologically excited. And but in the meantime, your goodness and your decency ultimately is going to be co-opted. There are times when you feel like I got pulled into schemes and ideas and plans that isn't really me, and I just don't feel like I'm my best version of who I should be or want to be. So let's keep in mind that, again, they play upon your desire to have trust, but then over time you begin realizing that this trustworthiness and pleasantness that they create for you is merely the proverbial calm before the storm. Because once they kind of wear out their welcome, and once you get into more of the mundane kind of tasks, all sorts of other characteristics begin showing up that are not pretty. They can be very harsh in the way that they express their anger. When I say harsh, it can be really ugly and vindictive. Their entitlement is extremely strong. It's like, you owe me, don't you dare forget it. You'll find out that they tell one lie after another after another. It's just as first nature to them. And then if you try to call them out on their lies, their explanations are way too polished and too self-serving. They'll shame you for having your faults or your unwillingness or inability to coordinate with them. Lots of blaming toward you, and they can have a lot of passive aggressiveness over time. Non-cooperation, promising to do something and then not following through, and then always having a great excuse for something like that. They're very disruptive in terms of you being able to get your goals met. And then over time, you realize discard is just a matter of time. This is going to fall apart. And you know what happens? That narcissistic individual is thinking, on to my next victim. Now, they don't put it quite like that, but they just go from one person, from one group to another, and they don't change. They don't learn. Now, as you have been in the presence of someone like this, you can think, well, was I just too eager or too willing to receive good news and I just wanted it so badly that I got suckered in? Am I naive for having believed that kind of a person? And so commonly I tell folks, well, your biggest problem is you don't think like a narcissist. And yeah, you do want to have good characteristics. And for a while, narcissists, in their chameleon-like way, they can present themselves as being a really ideal kind of person. And so that tells us that short term doesn't work. You have to go for the long haul and be patient as you get to know individuals. Let's keep in mind that even though the narcissist promises that I'm going to be good and I'm going to be excellent towards you, it's always one-sided. It's going to be good for them, but not for you. They want to present themselves in ways that they just simply aren't going to follow through on. And then in the end, when you're with that con artist, you lose your sense of peace, both mentally and emotionally. You can just become very exhausted. And there's the old saying, when someone or something seems to be too good to be true, it probably is. And that's so true when we're talking about that con artist. So when you begin picking up on some of this too good to be true or trust me kind of mentality, or I'm going to be the best thing that ever happened to you, I'm hoping you can pick up on some of the red flags that I'm talking about and just, like I say, allow that patience to come along. Go slow as you get to know individuals. Listen to whatever your gut is trying to tell you. Many times you pick up on red flags, but that person can be so all-encompassing in their positives that you just go along with it. Listen to what your gut is saying. Pull back at times for the purpose of self-reflection. Listen to what other individuals might say to you that are picking up on red flags, and keep in mind that there is no such thing as an ideal situation. And as a result, if we're going to have true connection and true intimacy, it's going to be anchored in traits like humility and vulnerability and strong accountability and personal responsibility, all characteristics that the narcissist is not known for. So the more you know about the con artist game, trust me, I'm telling you, trust me. Then I'm hoping you can think, I'll trust as time shows me who you really are, and then know that these individuals do not pass the test of time. And then I'm hoping you can decide, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not going to be pulled in by short-term feel-good experiences, which is what they are counting on.